Barry Murphy is the new Cardiff City manager. He's the one tasked with taking them straight back up to the Championship after relegation a few months ago. Watch this video to find out how this Cardiff City might look under BBM and whether this is a good fit for both the manager and the club. First thing to say is that this is not Barry Murphy's first senior managerial job. He moved straight from a playing career where he'd spent a long time at Rochdale into the coaching setup there and eventually replaced Keith Hill when Rochdale were in League One. In his first season, Rochdale stayed up. In his second season, they were relegated by 1 point. What was very notable about Barry Murphy's Rochdale side was how young the team was and how much trust he put in some really young academy talent and young loanees, and also the way that they approached the game at that point in 2020. Very high possession based team despite being up against it in terms of budget and talent, and while they scored a lot of goals, they struggled at the other end, conceded just too many goals and just about dropped out of the division altogether. One of the obvious concerns about Barry Murphy compared to others who were in the frame is EFL managerial experience. He's not been managing in the EFL since 2021, and in that time he's been with Manchester City working for their elite development squad in PL2 under Enzo Maresca and also taking the team himself, and also he's been an assistant manager at Leicester City for the second half of last season under Ruud van Nistelrooy. Now, the fact that he hasn't been managing in the EFL for a few years, does that matter? Well, the last 3 managers to have won the League One title were in their first ever managerial role. Chris Davies of Birmingham City, John Mousinho of Portsmouth, and Stephen Schumacher at Argyle, who won the league in front of Kieran McKenna's Ipswich when he was in his first managerial role. So I think we can say pretty definitively off the bat that previous EFL managerial experience is not a precursor for success if you're trying to get back up to the Championship. Style of play is really interesting because Barry Murphy's Rochdale side came under some criticism for the manner in which they tried to approach games. Now, Barry Murphy himself says that this wasn't necessarily his pure footballing philosophy of total football and the Pep Guardiola style, but rather it was a club philosophy. It was a way of playing and a way of developing players and a way of punching above their weight at League One level that had basically been set at a club level and that he was trying to implement as the head coach. When I interviewed Barry Murphy 6 months or so ago, he talked about the style of play at Rochdale and he said, yeah, I probably made some mistakes and there are some things that I would do differently in my next job. I probably won't play an exact replica of that kind of style. So I would say to Cardiff fans who are worried about this tippy-tappy football that might be more about process and aesthetics than results, that Barry Murphy himself has said that's not how he's going to see the game when he goes back in as a head coach. That's not to say that the team won't look after the ball well, because I'm absolutely sure that they will, and I'm sure that with the talent advantage in League One, which Cardiff City should have if they retain the majority of their squad and they add some good signings this summer, they should be a dominant side at the level, and generally that will mean dominating the ball, and generally that will mean having to come up with solutions against teams who are happy playing for a point. And I think someone who has worked at Man City for the last few years is quite a good person to bring in, given that that's the scenario that Man City's first team and all of their academy teams face on a match-by-match basis. So I don't think we should expect to just see a copy and paste of Rochdale's style of play, but I do think it will be a possession-based style. And I really strongly believe that Barry Murphy's style of play, if he gets buy-in from the players, and if he has the talent advantage, should elevate this Cardiff City team very well. It should be a good fit for what they're trying to achieve this season, and it should lead to both success and style. I personally think that the players will really enjoy playing for Barry Murphy, and that's both from a footballing point of view and the way that he wants the team to play and dominate, but also from a personal point of view. A lot is made of a manager's tactics and their footballing philosophy, and a lot gets missed about the simple fact of whether players enjoy playing for them or not, whether players go to work every day excited about what they're going to be doing and carry that positivity into each match day. That is a very overlooked part of how we judge managers, and while there's no massive evidence based on Barry Murphy not having been a first team manager for quite a few years, my perception is that the players, and particularly young players that Cardiff have, will really enjoy playing with someone with his mentality, with his personality and with his preferred style of play. So I think it's really good news for the Cardiff City Academy as well, which I think is a really impressive academy, but I don't think the pathway from the academy to the first team has been as effective as it should have been. I think Brian Barry Murphy's track record at Rochdale and the work he's done at Man City will be fantastic news for Cardiff City's brightest young talents. And I think every club in the EFL, whether you're trying to win the league or stay in the division, should have a clear ethos of giving opportunities to young players. It gives the whole club a lift. So I think it's fair to say that I'm positive about this appointment because I'm positive about Brian Barry Murphy, and I think that there's a world here where the players really enjoy playing for Brian Barry Murphy, where they get a taste for dominating and winning games again, which Cardiff haven't done for years. And if that's the case, it should be a team that the fans really enjoy watching, and it should be a team at League One level that wins a lot of games, and all that together could help turn around the fortunes of Cardiff City, who've been circling the drain in the Championship for a few years. There's a huge but, and that is, I strongly believe that for a club in the EFL, any club in the world, your plan for success should not start and end with the manager. It shouldn't start and end with a managerial appointment. If those running Cardiff now sit back and think, cool, Barry Murphy's in now, and it's on him to lead us to promotion, they are entirely missing the point. What those running Cardiff have to do is support the new head coach in any way that they can. A young head coach who is a training ground manager and a developer of players needs support around him. Maybe that's with a really strong recruitment team around him to help build a squad in his image. All of these things are crucial for Barry Murphy to have the platform to succeed and to have the platform to show the good parts of his managerial ability, rather than having to spend a lot of time worrying and focusing on other parts of the football club and other parts of management to take away from the work that he should thrive doing. And clearly that's my biggest concern here, because as I said on my last video, I've been unimpressed with the way that Cardiff City have been run for a few years, and it's my belief that if there isn't coherent decision making from the very top of the club, and if there isn't a solid structure around a head coach, it's very hard for anyone to succeed in the modern game when there's just so much that goes into winning at any level. So excited about the appointment, excited to watch Brian Barry Murphy's Cardiff City team, and hopeful that they will give him the support that he needs when it comes to staff, when it comes to budget, when it comes to player recruitment, and when it comes to the clarity and decision making throughout the organisation. Head to dragonsports.co.uk for all the best Welsh sports news with no ads whatsoever, and make sure you're subscribed to the Dragon Sports YouTube channel for more videos like this.